The best way to avoid the fight is to agree to let the people decide. Senator, these are your words. Not once did you say, oh, it depends on what party the Senate holds versus the party of the president. This just sounds like a power grab, pure and simple.
Well, it is the Biden rule, and this is the precedent of the country. You haven't had...
There's no Biden rule.
We can't even go to our... Fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump.
What's popping, gang? Today, we're gonna be looking at something that it's ongoing right now and it's kind of important to me. I just wanted to look at it and try to look at it from a more educated point of view. Today is the second day of the Senate hearings concerning the Supreme Court nomination of Amy Coney Barrett. She's obviously a very controversial pick. She has a lot of really controversial issues going on with her and the things that she believes. Theoretically, a Supreme Court nomination isn't a political party because they're supposed to look at the law from an unbiased, purely constitutional point of view. But Amy Coney Barrett is not someone I would say that I particularly agree with on most issues. So going down her clerkship with Lawrence Silberman, I already see a main point of contention that is shared between the two. And that would be Silberman's opinion on the Affordable Care Act. She's certainly relatively prestigious as far as I can see. Some pretty legit schools, distinguished professor of the year. You know, there's no such thing as a court. Well, usually there's no such thing as an uneducated court member, a judicial member, you know what I mean? Okay, so she was actually nominated to the appellate courts by Donald Trump himself. Not too long ago, 3 years ago. The point of contention in her nomination was something that basically saying that, like, case of the appearance of a court case concerning a death penalty, would you recuse yourself because you're a Catholic? And she said, yes, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to judge on that. And then basically the person interviewing her told her, essentially, you're a hypocrite, because Barrett's never made a promise that she would uphold Roe v. Wade or recuse herself in the case of Roe v. Wade because she's a Catholic, which made her popular with religious conservatives, as, you know, like it do. Obergefell for Hodges, okay. Oh, she ruled against Obergefell v. Hodges? Is that a thing she ruled against? Wow. Tim Kaine was never someone we actually cared about. Yeah, well, she was gonna be gridlocked in Congress for a little bit, and then 3 Democrats broke line, voted for her. In a unanimous decision by Barrett, reinstated a suit brought by a male Purdue University student. Okay, so Barrett ruled that someone who was found guilty of sexual assault in Purdue University and was suspended, lost a couple privileges. She ruled that they were violating his Title IX rights by punishing him. Okay. All right. Here we go. Employment discrimination. All right. Let's see. The 7th Court rejected the federal government's appeal in a civil lawsuit against AutoZone. How do you pronounce this? En banc? En banc? That essentially means that, as opposed to just one or a couple, so there's a bunch of appellate judges, right? There's actually a bunch, and for each given case, they only put forth a couple judges to deal with it. But when you petition to have a case looked at en banc, it essentially means that it's open to every judge. Every judge gives their opinion on this matter. Oh, okay. On her views on employment discrimination, we see this from a view that we can see by her ruling on Smith versus the Illinois Department of Transportation, and in a lawsuit from the federal government onto AutoZone, because AutoZone was reappropriating their workers and sending them to the neighborhoods where their race was more popular. Like, there's black employees at this store, but there's mostly white people in this town. I'm going to send the black employees to the black town. So Smith sued the Illinois Department of Transportation that he was called a stupid ass N-word by a black supervisor. And then Barrett says that there was no evidence that his experience changed because of the slur, and also that his discharge was related to poor performance. That's what Barrett ruled. Okay. In June 2020, Barrett wrote a 40-page dissent when the majority upheld the preliminary injunction against the Trump administration's controversial public charge rule. Okay, what's the public charge rule? Immigrants to the United States classified as likely or liable to become a public charge may be denied visas. Permission to enter the country due to their disabilities or lack of economic resources. Oh, okay. Barrett voted against the majority opinion that the public charge rule was bad, essentially. The public charge rule is that, like, immigrants that are either disabled or poor would not be able to enter the country because the country would not want to pay for an immigrant's right to live in the country, essentially. She argued that any non-citizens who disenrolled from government benefits because of the rule did so due to confusion about the rule itself rather than from its application, writing that the vast majority of the people subject to the rule are not eligible for government benefits in the first place. On the merits, Barrett departed from her colleagues Wood and Robner, who held that DHS's interpretation of that provision was unreasonable under Chevron Step 2. Chevron essentially is how a given department, like the State Department or the Department of Justice or the Department of Transportation, that kind of stuff, interprets the laws and then institutes said laws in their activities. Essentially, it seems that this has still not been ruled for. But she's saying that this public charge rule is okay because that is their interpretation of that law, and therefore that's kind of messed up. Barrett has okay, we're gonna look at abortion now because so far it's been incredibly depressing, I won't lie. Abortion related cases. Barrett has never ruled directly on abortion, but she did vote to rehear a successful challenge to Indiana's parental notification law in 2019. She voted against striking down another Indiana law requiring burial or cremation of fetal remains. Okay. Essentially, she has never directly voted on the subject of whether abortion could continue, but she has voted for like laws or views that are typically it's the stance of people who are pro fetal control, pro body control, because I refuse to say pro-life. I'm just looking a little bit at her judicial philosophy, political views, speeches, and writings. She is an originalist, meaning that she thinks the laws written in the Constitution should be taken literally, and that interpretations of said laws are a little dangerous. It's typically a more conservative view on the Constitution. Essentially, like, well, this is the foundation of the law, and it needs to be upheld. Without context, this is the law. That's the Constitution. A lot of that means that, like, if I interpret the right to bear arms as like the right to bear certain arms in certain contexts, so you can only carry your gun in a certain area, like your house or designated shooting areas, forests. She would say, well, the right to bear arms is the right to bear arms. You can carry a gun anywhere. That's typically what a textualist and originalist would argue. And that also goes for a lot of how we actually how we actually use laws in practice. A lot of the ways that we use laws in practice it's based on judicial review, judicial oversight, legal process theory. Right. It's essentially just that you know, given legal precedent, will change the way we view and practice laws. And that's what that is, legal precedent. And essentially, it seems that she would rely less on precedent and more on what the Constitution itself says. In here, she actually has two very, very contentious issues. In 2012, she openly criticized the Affordable Care Act, which, you know, most conservatives would, because it's seen as a it shouldn't be a public service. It should be a premium service, I suppose. It's not a right. It's like a privilege to get health insurance. That's what that view is. And then it also says she personally opposes abortion. She signed an advertisement placed by St. Joseph County Right to Life, an anti-abortion group. Oh God. She signed an advertisement that read, "It's time to put an end to the barbaric legacy of Roe v. Wade and restore laws that protect the lives of unborn children." And then she did this again in 2013. And then she spoke at 2 anti-abortion events at Notre Dame. And then really what we're talking about is the Donald Trump Supreme Court nomination, you know, pending a legacy, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her legacy being she's replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And just reading this, I gotta tell you, this goes against everything. This goes against everything Ruth Bader Ginsburg stands for. And then also, we can't talk about this without talking about the hypocrisy that comes with not allowing Barack Obama to nominate a new Supreme Court judge. It was Merrick Garland, who actually is pretty conservative for a Democrat. Barely a Democrat, really. So the Supreme Court, okay, the Senate under Mitch McConnell refuses to even look at President Barack Obama's Supreme Court nominations and his appellate court nominations, all of the things he could have nominated right in that year. They said no, he cannot do any of that, and they're allowing Donald Trump to do that with every court nomination, not 2 months before he gets before the next election, as opposed to Barack Obama's whole 9 months. I gotta tell you, I came into this video, you know, I expected to be disappointed, but Amy Coney Barrett is just a lot worse than I could have imagined. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to the end of these hearings. I hope you guys stay in touch with these hearings. You can catch them. There are live updates coming from multiple news outlets. Make sure to keep yourself educated. Thank you very much for watching me break down a little bit of what Amy Coney Barrett believes in, her past, you know, the past like things that she's ruled on. Thank you for watching this. I hope, regardless of your affiliation, you remember to go out and vote. I hope you get the proper information you need. Make sure you make an educated opinion on the things you believe in politically. Most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful fucking day. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a comment, a like. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. We have a lot of different content, spanning a lot of different genres. You'll find something you like. You can follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, anything on this side of the screen. Go ahead and just give us a follow. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm sorry that this was a depressing video. You guys have a good night.
Don't give a fuck if it kill me. Don't think that anyone feel me. Now I'm numb, I can't feel, so I'm laying this kill. Baby, show me what's real. Baby, show me what's real.